Have you ever wondered, what does true love really mean? How do you build a relationship that is not only lasting but also fulfilling? Love is not always smooth sailing, and sometimes, we encounter signs that make us question, is our love still as strong as it used to be? If you feel that your man is becoming distant, no longer showing interest, or even refusing to resolve conflicts, don't rush to stay silent or accept it. These could be clear signs of a love that is gradually fading. Let's explore these signs and see if your relationship is heading toward a dead end. Welcome to the Sophia's Knowledge channel, and my name is Sophia. This is a place where lessons about love will help you gain a deeper understanding of this complex emotion. In today's video, we will discuss 6 signs a man gives you when he no longer loves you. Watch now to find out. Prepare yourself because the insights and deep perspectives you are about to discover may make you reevaluate yourself and the relationships around you. Before we begin, find a quiet space, put on your headphones, and relax. Let your mind fully immerse in these shared experiences and enjoy every moment. Are you ready to discover new insights about love? Let's dive right in with Sophia. Sign 1. He cares less about you than before. When love starts to fade. One of the most noticeable signs that a man no longer loves you is his indifference and emotional detachment. If he used to take care of you in every little way and remember all the small details about you, but now that concern is gradually disappearing, it's a warning sign. This change does not happen suddenly but occurs over time, starting with the smallest things. He no longer texts or calls as much as before. Think back to the early days of your relationship when he would send good morning texts, check in on your day, or even call at night just to hear your voice. Those messages didn't have to be long, but they were filled with genuine care. But now, you realize that you are always the one initiating the conversation. If you don't text, he might not text you the whole day. His messages become short and dry, without curiosity or engagement, just responses like yeah, okay, or not bad. He no longer tries to keep the conversation going or seems excited to talk to you. If he used to set aside time for you, now he always has an excuse, I'm busy or I'm tired. A man who truly loves you will always make time for you, no matter how busy he is. If he no longer maintains this habit, it's a sign that you are no longer a priority in his life. He doesn't pay attention to your feelings anymore. When a man loves you, he will be attentive in both words and actions. He will notice when you're sad, comfort you when you're feeling down, and share your struggles. But as love fades, he will gradually lose that sensitivity. If you're sad, he doesn't bother to ask why. If you're upset, he just remains silent or even gets annoyed. If you need encouragement, he no longer feels the urge to comfort you. Sometimes, it feels like you're talking to a wall, no empathy, no concern, not even a single question about your well-being. This means he no longer wants to invest his energy or emotions in you. He forgets important things about you. A man who truly loves you will always remember important details about you, even the smallest ones. He knows what foods you love, what songs you listen to, and the dates that matter to you. But when he no longer loves you, you will notice a clear difference. He forgets anniversaries or even your birthday. He doesn't remember your favorite food, the movies you mentioned, or the little things that once made you happy. If you bring up a past story, he seems indifferent or doesn't recall it at all. This forgetfulness is not due to a bad memory. It's because you are no longer a priority in his mind. When someone truly loves, they naturally remember everything about the person they love. He no longer worries when you are struggling. In the past, if you ever said, I don't feel well or I'm having a tough day, he would immediately check on you, comfort you, and even find ways to help. But now, things have changed. When you're sick, he just texts, takes some medicine, and moves on. When you're feeling down, he doesn't ask for details or try to cheer you up. When you need help, he always has an excuse to be too busy. Concern is not shown through fancy words, it's demonstrated through actions. If he no longer worries when you're struggling, it's a clear sign that his love has faded. He doesn't want to spend time with you anymore. A man who loves you will always make time for you, no matter how busy he is. But when his feelings change, you will start to notice he no longer initiates dates or plans to meet up. Your time together becomes less frequent, and even when you do meet, he seems uninterested. He prefers spending time with friends, work, or hobbies rather than being with you. You may start to feel like you're an unnecessary part of his life rather than someone important. So, what should you do when you notice this sign? If you realize that he is becoming less interested in you, don't rush to blame or beg for his attention. First, try having an open and honest conversation with him about your feelings. If he still loves you, he will make an effort to change. But if he continues to be indifferent, then maybe it's time to reconsider the relationship. You deserve to be loved and cherished, not to be left feeling neglected in your own relationship. Don't be afraid to walk away from someone who no longer wants to be with you, because when one door closes, another better one will open. What do you think about this lesson? Have you ever applied something similar in your life? Share your thoughts or personal stories in the comments below. I will read and respond as quickly as possible. Thank you for your attention. Let's continue together. Sign 2. When he no longer spends time with you. In a relationship, time is the clearest proof of love. When a man loves you, he will always find a way to make time for you, no matter how busy he is. But when feelings change, priorities change as well. One of the clearest signs that he no longer loves you is that he no longer wants to spend time with you. If you feel like you are gradually being left behind in his life, let's take a closer look at these specific signs. You are always the one initiating plans. In the past, he was always the one planning your dates, sometimes even just a simple coffee outing or a spontaneous walk together. But now, everything has changed. You are the only one suggesting meeting up. He always makes excuses about being busy or tired to decline. When you ask, "When are you free?" he gives vague responses without a specific time. If you do go out, he no longer seems excited and may even appear annoyed, as if it's an obligation. A man who truly loves you will not make you feel like you have to beg for his presence. If you are always the one initiating while he only reluctantly agrees, it's a clear sign that he no longer sees you as a priority. Work, friends, and personal interests are more important than you. Of course, everyone has their own life, work, friends, and hobbies. But when a man loves you, he will know how to balance everything to make time for you, no matter how busy he is. You may start to notice that he can spend hours playing games or scrolling through social media but can't spare a few minutes to text or call you. He always has time to go out drinking with his friends but can't find one evening to spend with you. When you bring up the need to spend more time together, he accuses you of being too demanding. Your private moments together become rare, sometimes weeks or even months apart. If he has time for everything except you, it's a clear sign that you are no longer a priority in his life. When he's with you, he's not really present. Time is not just measured in hours spent together. What matters more is the quality of that time. There may be moments when you're still physically together, but he constantly checks his phone, barely paying attention to what you say. He appears impatient, eager for the meeting to end. He no longer engages in conversations, leaving you to talk to yourself. If he used to make an effort to extend your time together but now seems to want to leave as soon as possible, it's a sign that being with you has become more of a duty than a joy. His promises to spend time with you are empty words. Some men don't want to hurt you outright, but they also don't want to put in the effort for the relationship. They keep making promises but never follow through. You may often hear things like, "I'm busy this weekend, but I'll make it up to you next week." Work has been hectic lately, but once it settles down, I'll spend more time with you. I still love you, I'm just a bit occupied these days. But week after week, month after month, those promises never materialize. He doesn't break up with you, but he also doesn't include you in his schedule anymore. This is one of the clearest signs that his feelings are fading. When you express your feelings, he dismisses or blames you. You may have already tried talking to him about the issue. You tell him that you feel he's becoming distant and that you hope you can spend more time together. But instead of listening and trying to change, he reacts with indifference or even blames you. You always complain. "I'm already too stressed with work, stop bothering me. We still see each other, what more do you want?" This indifference is not just a sign of distance, it also shows that he no longer values your feelings. When a man loves you, he won't let you feel abandoned in the relationship. So, what should you do? If you realize that he no longer wants to spend time with you, take a step back and ask yourself, do you really want to continue a relationship where you are not a priority? Do you feel happy constantly waiting, hoping, and being disappointed? Don't waste your time holding on to someone who no longer wants to be with you. A man who loves you will always find a way to make time for you. If he doesn't, no matter how much you try, he will only find more excuses to distance himself. Remember, you deserve love and appreciation. If he can't make time for you, then use that time to love yourself and find someone who will make you a priority in their life. If you're still watching this video, don't hesitate to comment continue. Share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so Sophia can continue to create more meaningful and valuable videos. Let's keep going together. Sign 3. Becoming irritable or distant. When love is no longer the same. In a relationship, a man's attitude towards you is a reflection of his feelings. When he still loves you, he will be gentle, patient, and willing to show you affectionate gestures. But when love fades, you will start to feel a clear change in his attitude. He becomes more irritable, annoyed, and distant from you, even in normal situations. This change does not happen overnight but gradually unfolds in small actions, brief conversations, and the way he reacts when you try to get closer. If you notice your man showing the following signs, his feelings for you may not be the same anymore. He gets annoyed with you more easily than before. Previously, no matter what mistakes you made, he would be understanding, gently explain, or tease you so that you wouldn't feel bad. But now, he gets angry, irritated, and starts to pick on every little thing you do wrong. You may notice changes like, jokes that used to make him laugh now annoy him. Small things like replying to his messages late or asking too many questions make him frustrated. When you unintentionally do something that displeases him, he no longer reacts kindly but immediately shows a negative response. He no longer treats you with patience and love. Instead, he loses his temper with you more easily than with others. This is a sign that you are no longer as important to him as before. Conversations become tense and less frequent. When a man loves you, he wants to talk to you, share little things about his day, and listen to your thoughts. But when his feelings change, conversations between you two become forced and heavy. You may notice that conversations are no longer enjoyable but often end in silence or arguments. He no longer asks about your day, instead, he only gives brief responses or avoids long conversations. If you try to start a conversation, he seems annoyed, even showing that you are bothering him. This is a clear sign that he is no longer excited about maintaining the relationship. A man who truly loves you will always want to talk to you, even if it's just about the little things in life. He no longer cares about your feelings. Coldness is not just expressed through words but also in how he treats your emotions. If before, when you were sad or struggling, he would listen, comfort, and encourage you, now you may feel like you have to face everything alone. When you share your problems, he no longer cares or just gives vague responses. When you are sad, he doesn't ask how you feel or try to make you feel better. If you're upset or need attention, he ignores you instead of trying to make amends. A man in love will always care about your feelings. But if he no longer cares whether you are happy or sad, it means his heart is no longer with you as it once was. He acts cold even when you're together. Not only in conversations but even when you meet, you can feel the distance between you two. The small gestures that once showed his care and affection gradually disappear. He no longer looks at you lovingly or gives you sweet gestures. When walking together, he no longer holds your hand or pays attention to you. He rarely gives you hugs or says loving words. This change in actions may not be obvious at first, but when you pay attention, you will clearly see that he no longer wants to connect with you emotionally or physically. Everything you do seems to annoy him. When in love, people tend to overlook small flaws or even find them endearing. But when love fades, those same things become reasons for him to be annoyed with you. You may notice that the habits he used to like about you now bother him. The things you do for him no longer make him feel touched or appreciated. He always finds reasons to complain about you, even over minor issues. This is a sign that he is no longer interested in you. When a man stops loving, even the things he once cherished about you lose their meaning. When you bring it up, he doesn't care or blames you. You may have noticed this change and tried to talk to him about it. But instead of listening and working on the issue together, he reacts indifferently or blames you instead. You're always complaining, "I'm tired of it. I act this way because you make me lose interest. You always exaggerate everything." These words not only show that he no longer cares about your feelings but also that he is trying to shift the responsibility away from himself. When a man doesn't want to solve the problem, it means he no longer values the relationship. What should you do when you notice these signs? When you realize that your man has become distant and irritable, ask yourself, do you still feel happy in this relationship? Is he still willing to change for you? Are you putting in too much effort to maintain a love that is fading? If you find yourself constantly trying while he remains indifferent, maybe it's time to step back. A happy relationship requires effort from both sides. If you are the only one trying, you will always feel exhausted and heartbroken. You deserve to be loved, cherished, and with someone who truly cares about you. Don't be afraid to let go of someone who no longer loves you, because when one door closes, another better one will open. Sign 4. No more loving actions. When coldness replaces love. Love is not only expressed through words but also through daily actions. A warm hug, a gentle gaze, or a light touch of the hand, all these are gestures that show the love a man has for his woman. But when love starts to fade, these actions also disappear, leaving an invisible but painful void in your heart. If you feel that he no longer shows you affectionate gestures as before, pay close attention to the signs below. They may indicate that his love for you is gradually fading. He no longer hugs, holds hands, or shows physical affection. When a man loves you, he always wants to be close to you, to touch you, even if it's just holding your hand while walking or giving you a tight hug after a long day. But if he no longer loves you, this closeness will gradually disappear. Before, he would always hold your hand when walking down the street, but now he just walks beside you without wanting to touch you. When you meet, he no longer hugs you as before, nor does he naturally kiss your forehead or cheek. In intimate moments, such as resting your head on his shoulder, he no longer responds but instead remains still or finds a way to pull away. A person's body reacts according to their emotions. If he no longer wants to touch you, it means his feelings are not the same as before. No more small gestures of care. Love is not only about grand gifts or public displays of affection but also about small daily actions. A man who loves you will always pay attention to small details, such as adjusting your coat when it's cold, gently tucking your hair behind your ear when it falls on your face, looking at you with affection even when you're not paying attention, placing food into your bowl when dining together. These gestures may seem insignificant, but they show that he is always thinking about you. When he stops doing these things, it means you are no longer his priority. he no longer expresses love through words. Previously, he may have frequently said, "I love you," "I miss you," or simply asked, "How was your day?" But now, everything seems to have disappeared. You no longer hear loving words from him, and if he does say them, they feel emotionless. He no longer wishes you good night or tells you that he misses you. When you say, "I love you," he only responds reluctantly or avoids the topic. Verbal affection is not everything in a relationship, but if it completely disappears, it indicates that his emotions are no longer as strong as before. He no longer tries to make you happy. A man who loves you will always want to see you smile. He might joke around to make you laugh, plan fun dates, or simply do little things to make you happy. But when love fades, he no longer cares about that. He no longer tells funny stories or creates joyful moments like before. When you're sad, he doesn't try to comfort you or do anything to make you feel better. If you're upset, he doesn't try to make amends but instead remains silent or indifferent. When someone no longer cares about your emotions, it means he no longer sees you as an important part of his life. Physical intimacy in the relationship gradually disappears. Beyond daily affectionate gestures, physical intimacy is also an essential part of love. When a man loves you, he always wants to be close to you, not just sexually but also in simple ways like hugging you while watching a movie, kissing your forehead or cheek naturally, cuddling with you during free moments. But if he gradually avoids these intimate moments, it could be a sign of emotional distance. He may use excuses like being tired, busy with work, or simply not in the mood. But the truth is, when someone truly loves you, they will always want to be close to you, even in the simplest ways. When you initiate affection, he no longer responds. You may have noticed this change and tried to be more affectionate. You reach for his hand, hug him, or express your love through words. But instead of reciprocating, he acts distant or even avoids you. When you hold his hand, he unconsciously pulls away. When you hug him, he just stands still without hugging you back. When you say, "I miss you," he just gives a half-hearted smile or changes the subject. These reactions may be the clearest sign that his feelings for you are no longer as strong as they once were. What should you do when you notice these signs? When you realize he no longer shows loving actions as before, the most important thing is not to rush into blaming or clinging to him. Instead, try to observe whether this is just a temporary phase or a long-term change. Talk to him openly to understand his thoughts and feelings. Focus on yourself instead of trying too hard to regain his affection. If he still loves you, he will recognize his change and make an effort to fix it. But if he no longer wants to give you love, it may be time for you to reconsider this relationship. True love is not just expressed through words but also through the smallest actions. If those actions disappear, ask yourself whether you are still in love with someone who no longer loves you. You deserve to receive a full and wholehearted love, not just beautiful memories of the past. Sign number 5. He often compares you to others. When love is no longer complete. One of the clearest signs that a man no longer cherishes you is when he constantly compares you to others. True love does not weigh and measure who is better or more perfect. But when feelings fade, he may start focusing on your imperfections and comparing them to other people, making you feel inadequate and unworthy. This comparison can be either blatant or subtle, but it always leaves deep emotional scars. If you notice that your man frequently does this, it's time to reconsider your relationship. He frequently mentions his ex or other women. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where he casually or intentionally brings up his ex and compares her to you? "My ex was a great cook, you should learn from her. I used to have so much fun going out with her. It's just not the same anymore. She was very independent, not like you, always needing my attention." These statements not only hurt but also make you feel like you're not good enough in his eyes. When a man is truly in love, he focuses on you, not on his past or anyone else. He compliments others but criticizes you. No one is perfect, but if he only sees the good in others while pointing out your flaws, it's a serious red flag. You should dress like A, she always looks elegant. Look at B's wife, she's so thoughtful. You should learn from her. My friend's girlfriend is very understanding, not like you, always overreacting. These compliments might seem harmless, but when they are paired with criticism of you, it's a sign he no longer appreciates you. A man who loves you will always see the good in you instead of focusing on what you lack compared to others. He sets unrealistic expectations for you. Another form of comparison is when he imposes unrealistic standards and expects you to change to meet them. You should start going to the gym, everyone has a great body nowadays. You need to earn more money. Look at all those successful women out there. Why don't you act like C's girlfriend? She's always gentle and well-mannered. This kind of comparison can make you feel like you're never enough, no matter how much effort you put in. When someone truly loves you, they accept you as you are, rather than asking you to change to fit their ideal image. He makes you lose confidence in yourself. These comparisons not only hurt but also gradually erode your self-confidence. You start questioning yourself, am I not as beautiful as her? Am I not good enough to make him proud? What do I need to change for him to love me more? Constant comparison will make you feel like you're always lacking something, even though you shouldn't have to change just to please someone. A healthy relationship should boost your confidence and make you feel loved, not make you feel inferior to others. When you react, he calls you too sensitive. You may have already expressed your concerns about his comparisons. But instead of listening, he shifts the blame onto you. You're overreacting, I was just saying. Why are you always so sensitive? I just want you to improve, why are you upset? These statements not only invalidate your feelings but also make you feel guilty for speaking up. Someone who truly loves you will not hurt you and then dismiss your emotions when you express them. When love fades, comparisons increase. Comparison is not an isolated sign, it often comes along with other indications that love is fading. When he no longer loves you as before, he starts noticing your imperfections and comparing you to others as an excuse for his changing feelings. He may not even realize that by constantly comparing, he is pushing you further away. A relationship cannot be happy if one person always feels like they have to try harder to be good enough. What should you do if you notice this sign? If you find that your man often compares you to others, take a step back and ask yourself, are you truly happy in this relationship? Are you changing yourself just to please him? Do you feel like you are being judged rather than loved? True love means accepting and appreciating you for who you are, not comparing you to others. If he cannot love you without putting you on a scale, maybe it's time to reconsider this relationship. Do not let comparisons make you lose confidence and forget your own worth. You don't have to become someone else to deserve love, you deserve to be loved for exactly who you are. Sign 6. No longer making an effort to resolve conflicts. When love begins to fade, every relationship encounters conflicts at some point. It's inevitable because each person has their own personality and perspective. However, a healthy relationship is not one without conflicts but one where both individuals can resolve disagreements in a mature and understanding way. When a man truly loves you, he will always be willing to put in the time and effort to resolve conflicts, find ways to make amends, and maintain the relationship. But when love fades, a clear sign is that he no longer tries to resolve issues, making the relationship increasingly tense and heading toward a dead end. If you notice that your man no longer wants to resolve the conflicts in your relationship, it could be a clear sign of fading love. Below are the reasons why he may no longer want to resolve issues and the signs you should pay attention to. He avoids confronting the conflict. Previously, when conflicts arose, he would not hesitate to find a way to solve them or discuss them seriously. However, when feelings are no longer the same, he will start avoiding important conversations. When you want to talk about an issue in the relationship, he always changes the subject. He refuses to discuss the concerns you have and even avoids facing you. Whenever you bring up past conflicts, he ignores them or even walks away. When someone no longer loves you, they often do not want to deal with the tension or difficulties that conflicts bring. This causes problems to remain unresolved and gradually become more serious. He becomes silent and unresponsive. Silence is one of the ways he may use to avoid resolving conflicts. When love has faded, he no longer wants to engage in conversations or understand your feelings. When you speak up about issues in the relationship, he just stays silent, saying nothing. He does not engage in the conversation, nor does he provide any response, even though you clearly want him to. He might only say okay or without actually participating in finding a solution. This silence is not a thoughtful pause or waiting for a better moment to talk. It is a way to avoid the issue, a sign that he is no longer willing to be involved in the process of resolving problems together. He blames you without admitting his own mistakes. In a loving relationship, a man will be able to admit his faults, listen, and try to make things right. However, when feelings fade, he may blame you instead of acknowledging any wrongdoing on his part. You always make a big deal out of everything. You're always causing trouble. Why can't I have some peace? I've tried my best, but you're never satisfied. The inability to acknowledge his own faults and instead putting all the blame on you only shows that he is no longer willing to make an effort to fix things. This makes you feel like you are the only one responsible for all the problems in the relationship. He refuses to discuss or offer solutions. Another sign is that he no longer proposes solutions or makes an effort to discuss things fairly. When love is fading, he no longer cares about finding a way to fix the conflicts. I don't know what to do to solve this anymore. You figure it out yourself. I'm tired. I don't care anymore. Do whatever you want. Instead of sitting down with you to find a way to resolve the issue, he chooses to walk away from the conversation and make no effort to improve the situation. This shows that he no longer values maintaining the relationship as he once did. He no longer takes the initiative to make amends after an argument. When a fight occurs, a man who loves you will not let things drag on for too long. He will take the initiative to make amends, find ways to resolve the issue, and ensure you do not feel hurt. However, when love fades, he will no longer take the initiative to reconcile or resolve conflicts after arguments. After a fight, he no longer apologizes or tries to ease the tension. If you make the first move to make peace, he may feel like it is your job, not his. He no longer cares whether the two of you continue or end the relationship after each argument. A healthy relationship always involves effort from both sides. But when one person stops caring, they will no longer make an effort to resolve conflicts. This means the love is no longer as deep, and the connection between the two of you is fading. He becomes indifferent to your feelings. Another significant sign is when he no longer cares about how you feel after an argument. In a loving relationship, after a conflict, your partner will try to comfort you, understand you better, and soothe any negative emotions. However, when love has faded, he will no longer care about you. If you're upset, then just stay upset. I don't have time for this. If you're not happy, then why don't you just leave? Do whatever you want. I don't care anymore. This indifference shows that he is no longer emotionally invested in the relationship. He no longer listens to your emotions, and conflicts only push the two of you further apart. What should you do if you notice this sign? If you realize that your partner is no longer making an effort to resolve conflicts, don't just accept the situation. This is the time to reflect deeply on your relationship. Listen to your own emotions. Do you still feel loved and valued in this relationship? Communicate directly and honestly, talk to him about how you feel and ask for a more balanced relationship. Don't be afraid of change. If you recognize that his silence and lack of effort will not change, it may be time for you to make a decision for yourself. A relationship cannot grow if only one person is trying. Remember, you deserve a relationship where both partners put in the effort, love, and respect each other. When one person stops trying to resolve issues, it's a sign that their love is no longer the same. Conclusion. Love is a long journey, and throughout that journey, we will face challenges, conflicts, and difficulties. However, a relationship cannot last if one person is no longer making an effort, no longer caring, or no longer prioritizing their partner. Signs such as indifference, lack of communication, becoming distant, or easily irritated, especially not making an effort to resolve conflicts, are clear warning signs that love is fading. When someone no longer wants to resolve conflicts, it shows that they no longer see the relationship as a priority and no longer want to maintain and nurture the love. Issues will only pile up, making the relationship suffocating with no way out. Silence, avoidance, and indifference only make the emotional bond between two people even weaker. If you notice these signs in your relationship, stop and ask yourself, am I still happy? Do I deserve a love that is whole and mutual? Never let yourself suffer in a relationship that no longer has love, respect, and effort. You deserve to be truly loved and valued. Love only truly lasts when both people work together, resolve issues, and continuously strive to make the relationship better. Remember, if love truly matters, both partners will always be willing to fight for it. Thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope today's insights on love have given you a new perspective and valuable lessons. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your loved ones. I truly appreciate your support, and I hope each video brings you closer to a happy and fulfilling love life. See you in the next video. Wishing you a wonderful and inspiring day.